Hey there, it's Jackie here. I'm going to be teaching you the switching technique today. It is not really a technique that's designed to be done on its own. Yes, it will bring about some kind of change and it will help. But when you pair it together with the cortices technique, which is how it's designed to really be maximized for its absolute efficiency and how it could work for you, it's going to work beautifully. So you do the cortices technique first, then you would do the switching technique. You can do it as many times a day as you like. You can do it straight after one another. So you can keep doing the technique over and over again if you feel like you really need it. So you start with the cortices technique first, then you move into the switching technique. This technique is designed to reset the stress threshold limits within the body-mind complex, particularly focusing on the head brain and the nervous system. Now, everyone has a stress threshold, but for a lot of people, majority of people, that threshold is out of balance of where it's meant to be, ideally for you as an individual. The threshold be too low or it might be too high, which means you're either getting triggered and affected by stress way more easily, or you're taking on way more stress before the body actually alerts you and says, hey, you need to take a break, or you need to rest or eat or drink or whatever it is to replenish. The switching threshold or the switching mechanism inside the nervous system and the head brain is very natural. It's meant to be there. So what you're doing with this technique is you're adjusting the threshold to the most optimal level for you, and you're helping to reset the nervous system, bring it out of sympathetic mode, which is a fight, flight, freeze mode, and bring it more into parasympathetic mode. So the cortices technique that you do first really, really helps to maximize the benefits of the switching technique. This is also a technique that is likely going to have to be done over and over and over again over a long period of time. I'm talking weeks or even months. And not just like once a week, but once a day. It would have to be done over and over again over a long period of time to bring about significant change in the switching threshold. And the reason for that is once the switching threshold gets moved from its most ideal level within your nervous system and your head brain, it very quickly forms patterns, neurological patterns and habits around that. And it's great to be able to address that threshold and bring it to a more ideal level, but you have to create brand new patterns and habits inside the body mind complex so it relearns this is what a healthy level looks like, and it focuses on that, and it works to maintain that, because what it has been doing is working to maintain the unhealthy levels. So we're helping to do quite a lot of things here. Let's go through and do the technique. There are several things that you're going to need to do. One of the things is you're going to be needing to connect with the kidney reflex points, or kidney switching points we call them. And they sit on the underside. So these are the clavicle bones here. You can push on the soft parts above the clavicle bones. You can feel the clavicle bones run from the sternum all the way out to the shoulders, and underneath the clavicle bones, it's soft under there as well. Depending on how much stress you're carrying, it might be a little bit firm. You're going to need to find these switching reflex points. And the way that I find is easiest to do that is I take my thumb and my first finger and I place it on either side of my chin, my jaw, and I just let it gently slide down my neck. I let it come to the clavicle bone, and then I let my fingers go over the clavicle bone directly underneath it. And when I come underneath, just on the underside of the clavicle bone, I actually find two little, like they're like dimples, they're like hollow points there. And if you wiggle your fingers around, you will actually find them. Now, everyone is anatomically a little bit different in this perspective. For some people, it's a bit closer in the middle, but for a lot of people, we find it's actually quite far apart. So I've got a hollow point there on the underside of my clavicle, and I have a hollow point there on the underside of my clavicle. And what you're going to have to do is find those hollow points. Sometimes they're tender, especially if there's quite a lot of stress, right? And for a lot of us, we don't realize the level of stress or the amount of stress that we're holding. So the whole point of this is that you're finding them, that we're going to be stimulating them, but you don't want to apply super hard pressure. This is not anything that you're not trying to push down and in any way. We just want to find them, then we give them a little bit of a jiggle and we stimulate them as you're doing the technique. The other part that you're going to have to do is connect with some deep pressure points and switching points in behind the eyes. And the way that we do that is, and I'm just going to take my glasses off, is you're going to take both fingers and close your eyes and place 2 fingers over the top of your eyelids, and you're going to place firm pressure, not hard pressure, just firm pressure. And what will happen as we're doing the technique from this firm pressure, and it's your first thing that you do, is you'll begin to see, as you take nice big deep breaths in and out, some shapes, some colors, maybe some stars. I tend to see a lot of stars and shapes. That's perfect. If it is hurting at all, the pressure is too hard. Okay, if you're not seeing any stars, colors, shapes, whatever it is, then you haven't got enough pressure. So it's firm pressure, and your finger pads are going over the top of the whole eyelid, and you're just putting firm pressure. All right, so let me walk you through it. You can watch me first, then we do it together. You're going to start off by connecting with the pressure points in behind the eyes, and this helps to really get to the stress threshold levels in the brain and to engage with them, and then we help to reset them. So we go ahead and we connect with these points in behind the eye, deep in behind the eye. We place firm pressure, we observe the stars, the shapes, we take nice big deep breaths. So you're taking at least 2. Then you're going to take both hands away. With one hand, and whatever hand you choose, you're going to connect, run your fingers down and connect with those switching reflex points underneath the clavicle bone, and you're going to give them a little bit of a jiggle. It's to stimulate them. It's to bring the whole body-mind complex attention to these points to help reset them. They're very much connected into your kidneys. So jiggle them, and with your other hand, you're going to tap over your head brain, connecting with both sides of the brain, the left and right hemispheres, the heart brain, which is just left of your sternum, and then the gut brain, which is about 1 inch above the belly button. So again, 2 nice big deep breaths in this particular hand position. And you can tap over the 3 brains in any order you like. Just follow your intuition. That's the switching technique. So the more you do the cortices and the switching technique, the quicker it becomes second nature, and you can go through them and do them pretty quickly. The switching technique really only takes about 30 seconds to do. The cortices technique takes a few more seconds to do, but it's well worth taking the time to do that particular technique. You cannot teach this particular technique to anybody else. It is only a technique that I share with very, very selected clients who absolutely need it. The cortices technique, you're welcome to teach that to anybody. That's a technique we can teach worldwide to anybody. But this particular technique is a lot more, it's complex and it's a lot more detailed, and it's the one that I choose to share with you very, very privately. So if you have any questions about that, please let me know. Always reach out via email if you're not sure about anything. I'm happy to talk you through any process at all. Remember to do it regularly. The more you do it regularly, the more benefit you're going to see on a massive scale. It doesn't replace any of your sessions. It doesn't replace any other therapies or anything that you're doing, but it will help all of those to actually be more efficient and to work better for you, because you're helping your whole, or your three brains, your nervous system, to be able to function more clearly, think more clearly, regulate itself better. And that's win-win for you. All right, have fun and take your time. Bye.